Dukniak.
Here.
Toman.
Here.
Gale.
Here.
Guzekowski.
Here. Will everybody please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? And will our Deputy Clerk, Krista Miller, lead us?
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everybody, please take a look at the minutes of 11:19 and 11:20 for approval. If there's no omissions, questions, or corrections, motion when you are ready.
Kirkowski will make a motion to approve the minutes of November 19th and November 20th, 2018.
Oracle second. Roll call.
Alderman Lorik.
Aye.
Dukniak.
Aye.
Toman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
Item 4 is informational, our treasurer's report for the month of October. And we have Barb with us tonight.
Good evening. Tonight is the Treasurer Report on Investment and Banking for the City of Oak Creek accounts ending October 31st, 2018. Our beginning balance was $30,919,673.37. Our ending balance, $28,690,034.72. Interest earned, $65,532.73. And our balance was a decrease of $2,229,638.65. As I noted below, it's common to have a decrease at this point in the year without tax collection. Any questions?
Anything for Barb? Not. Thank you for coming in, Barb.
Thank
Is that it? Yep. Okay. Item 5. Couple of appointments, mayoral appointments. If you would take a look. If you have any questions, please direct them to me. And when you are ready, we will motion on the appointments.
I will move to concur with the mayor's appointments for the Board of Review filling a vacant 5-year term expiring April of 2023, Elizabeth Jackson, 9750 South Shepherd Hills Drive, and for the Board of Zoning and Housing Appeals filling a vacant 3-year term expiring April 2021, Telwinger Kong, 1402 West Armand Way.
Kirkowski will second.
Roll call.
Alderman Dukniak.
Aye.
Toman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
Lorik.
Aye. And before we do item 6, I would just like to extend my thanks to those 2 individuals for stepping up and serving our city. Item 6 is consideration of an ordinance fixing the salary ranges and salary wages and allowances for part-time personnel, other city offices and positions for the year 2019. And with us tonight, we have Judy Rogers. How are you, Judy? Welcome.
I'm fine, Mr. Mayor, council members. First in front of you is an ordinance fixing the salary wages, and allowance for part-time, non-union, general, management personnel, and other city offices and positions for the year 2019. On November 28th, this was brought before the Personnel Committee with a recommendation for approval and approved. The fiscal expenditures for this adjustment were reflected in the proposed 2019 city budget. The fiscal impact of this increase will be $7,157.50. It is a 2.25% increase. The options alternative, the council could reject the personnel committee recommendation, but our recommendation is that you approve ordinance number 2921, fixing the salary ranges, salary wages, and allowances for part-time, non-union, general, management personnel, and other city offices and positions for the year 2019 to be effective January 1st.
Thank you, Judy. Before I turn it over to the council for questions, I'd like to invite a citizen's asked to speak on this. Mr. Dagner, would you like to come up?
Arden Degner, 8540 South Pennsylvania Avenue. I have questions in regard to these salary ranges. especially the part-time employees. How do we expect a person paying as a laborer $10.97 an hour unless they're an intern, with which expecting the parents or someone to support them? How can we expect individuals to purchase an automobile, or do they have to have public transportation for this? And with this hue and cry for living wage, I don't think we've got it for casual laborers and for police aides. And yes, the two figure seems a little bit more respectable. And the same way with the individuals that are operating at the recycling attendant. Yeah, we need people that are capable and that can afford vehicles to accomplish these tasks. And if it only work for a few hours, now it doesn't say it, these are going to even go working a whole day. And that's the crew. How many part-time laborers do we have that are only working a few hours a day?
Thank you. We will get that answered for you, Mr. Dagner. Good questions. Good questions.
Because how can we expect them to provide? All right,
Again,
let's have an answer to that question. Thank you.
try to answer that. Ted, can you come on up for a second, please? Ted Johnson. Ted, couple of questions asked. How many part-time laborers or seasonal employees do you put on off the top of your head?
Well, in the summertime, there's quite a few. There's about 25. Right now, we only have 3 working right now. Well, no, I take that back. We have about 5 because we have some parks. But the individuals that Mr. Dagner is speaking about is primarily positions for college students in the summertime, the DPW laborer, and the recycle yard attendant positions. We generally get either college students who are working in between classes or retirees that want to earn a little extra money.
Okay, thank you. Just while you're here, Ted, the salary ranges are somewhere in the $10.50 range, roughly, to $14.60. They can start anywhere within that range, depending on skill, ability, hours. I mean, how did you come up with the ranges? I think he was asking that.
Well, these ranges for part-time jobs are fairly competitive. I think in the future we might have to look at them with some of the bigger players coming in, like Amazon and the minimum wage getting raised. So we might have to look at those in the future, but I feel they're pretty competitive for part-time wages.
Bridget?
Mr. Mayor, as we look at our ranges for the ordinance here, when we have turnover in these positions, we do review comparables and ensure that the starting wage is still what our neighboring communities and other facilities are operating under. And then we also ensure that those individuals that are currently working are within these ranges. So there's, as you can see in some of them, a wide gap. And even some of these seasonal laborers, as they are brought back, they're receiving, a 25-cent an hour raise, dependent on their time and tenure with the city as well.
I hope that answers your questions, Mr. Dagner. We'll open it up to council. Questions, comments?
Really comment, Mayor, Alderman Dukniak, 3rd District. During our Personnel Committee meetings, questions were brought up, were we able to attract people at the lower part-time starting wages? And it was brought to our attention that there are no critical shortages in any of the areas or departments, so it appears for the time being that the wage scales or rates that we're offering must be competitive in the marketplace because we are able to attract individuals to fill those positions.
I'll just add one comment. I tend to agree with Mr. Dagner. I wish we could up the starting pay of this. I do think it's kind of low. But again, I guess it depends on the wage. And as Alderman Dukniak said, if we do have the pool of people applying, I guess we're where we have to be. But again, I think, as Ted said, the market's going to drive that as competition goes up, and we're going to see that. And you're going to see this steadily increase over the years. At least that's what I forecast. So, with that, if there's no other comments, Chris,
I
got
think
something?
the only other area that I would like to point out is in the administrative area, whether it's at the police department or here at City Hall, are these comparable? Are these competitive prices for what we're paying our employees here within City Hall? Is one question I had.
Might be able to shed a little light on that, Mr. Mayor, if I may. We have done a recent salary study for the admin support staff in the building here, and that you can somewhat extrapolate that out to other administrative staff. Not necessarily in totality, though. Other administrative support in the police and fire have certainly have some additional skills that are required. Have some HR and other duties that the general administrative support here in the City Hall wouldn't have. We have arrived at a what we feel is an appropriate wage scale for the admin support staff here at the City Hall, and we are going to be bringing that to the Personnel Committee for discussion probably in January.
Just out of curiosity, did you find that we were lower, higher?
We did. We need some upward adjustment on those here at City Hall for sure.
Thank you for
And I think we kind of knew that heading into it.
And again, in the part-time world, these aren't designed to be family supporting jobs either. They're just kind of bridge jobs for the season. So keep that in mind. If there's no other questions or comments, motion please.
I'm going to make a motion to adopt ordinance number 2921, amending ordinance number 2890, fixing the salary ranges, salary, wages, and allowances for part-time personnel and other city offices and positions for the year 2019.
Guzekowski, second.
Roll call.
Alderman Toman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
Lorick.
Aye.
Dukniak.
Aye. Item 7 is consideration of an ordinance fixing the salary ranges for our full-time personnel and other city positions for the calendar year 2019. Judy.
On November 28th, 2018, the wage adjustments for the non-represented employees were recommended and approved by the Personnel Committee. The fiscal expenditures for these adjustments were reflected in the proposed 2019 city budget. The increase is a 2.25% increase. And our recommendation is that the Personnel Committee recommends Common Council approval of ordinance number 2922, fixing the salary ranges, salary, wages, and allowances for full-time, non-union, general, management personnel, and other city offices and positions for the year 2019. The fiscal impact of this is $122,700.
Thank you, Judy. Questions, comments from the council? Nothing? Anything from personnel? You guys reviewed it?
Other than, Mr. Mayor, if I may.
Yeah, please.
In regards to the last items, item number 6 and 7, the Personnel Committee it was actually a refreshing meeting, given that in past years when the CPI was lower, we were not obligated or allowed to raise the wages at this level. So it was actually a good thing for us this year to deal with the 2.25. So we were happy with that on the Personnel Committee.
Any other questions, comments? Seeing none, motion?
I'm going to make a motion to adopt ordinance number 2922, amending ordinance number 2889, fixing the salary ranges, salary, wages, and allowances for full-time personnel and other city offices and positions for the year 2019.
Dukniak, second.
Roll call.
Alderman Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
Lorik.
Aye.
Dukenyak.
Aye.
Toman.
Aye.
Item 8 is consideration of a resolution acknowledging the filing of the 2019 calendar year salary grade plan and benefits for library personnel. Nothing, Joe? Okay. So you guys have your packet. If there are questions, I'm sure we can get our librarian up. Please take a look at the scale that's in front of you. Tom? Sorry, Mr. Dagner, you need to be on mic. You can't speak from the floor, you know that. Just- Seeing no other questions, comments, motion.
Clerk will move that the Common Council adopt resolution number 12007-120418, acknowledging and filing the 2019 calendar year salary grade plan and benefits for library personnel.
Dukenyak, second.
Roll call.
Alderman Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
Lorik.
Aye.
Dukenyak.
Aye.
Toman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Item 9 is consideration of a resolution establishing various fees, permits, and charges charged by the city of Oak Creek to be effective 1/1/2019. Bridget.
Thank you. So each year we go over the fees and ask all the departments to review their fees compared to the wages and how things are operating, the time and effort that they have to put forth to complete the tasks that the fees are generating for. So in that, we have 4 departments that have come forward with some adjustments to their fees, as you can see in their write-up that we combined for the Common Council report. So I don't know if anybody has individual questions or if Chief, you want to speak.
Tom, would you like to summarize?
Well, yeah, I probably got the biggest portion of this in regards to the changes, and actually there's some new groundbreaking, I won't say groundbreaking, but bringing up to speed on a few additional requests. The first is pretty much the same as last year with the changes that occurred in the Milwaukee County paramedic contract, and also with the CPIU, we're asking for the 5% increase in the fee structure for EMS billing. Doesn't mean in the course of the events in the world of medical billing that we're going to collect it all, because historically, in fact, looking at our LifeQuest billing so far this year, that we're actually, our revenue is up, but the collection rate is down. We're down to about a 35% collection rate. We're in the 40s somewhere. The Medicare, Medicaid report that came out in the last year is Wisconsin is one of the lowest in the country as far as collecting. They're trying to change that up at the state. How soon that happens, I do not know exactly. That they might have other fish to fry at the moment. The second part of that, along with the 5%, is we're looking at a new fee for staff to lift facilities. We're one of the last in the area to put a charge for this. And basically what happens is we get called to these facilities all times of the day that to come to put somebody back into bed that has really no medical need, and this place is staffed with people working there. And so we're looking at roughly, we in the last 5 years, we have a range of 46 to about 100 lift assists a year. Out of that, half of that usually is the staffed facilities. But if there's medical treatment that becomes known the person did fall and, let's say, broke a hip or whatever, and, then this fee doesn't apply. But this is when we're just going there to put the person back into bed, and basically we're subsidizing that staff facility. We're looking at a $200 charge, and that's actually on the low end compared to most of the rest of the county. And example up north, Marshfield charges $250 up in the center of the state. But I just yesterday got a email from the South Milwaukee fire chief, and this must be occurring across the country because they must go to the same conferences, because the Tacoma, Washington Fire Department is looking to do a charge of $350 for the first call, $500 for the second, and $850 for a third call to the staff facilities. The Tulsa fire chief also, in regards to this, they're going to one place 400 times in 1 year for one facility. And he said they even had to pick up a person in the parking lot while staff was outside on break. So that's kind of the things that we're running into, and we feel this is justified, and basically we're just trying to cover our costs.
Tom, just to be clear, if I may, Mr. Mayor, that's to the facility, not the individual. I
Right,
think
we
that's
are charging the facility and not
important.
the individual. And let's say you have somebody visiting a relative and they fall and you need help picking up and we come, there is no charge. So we're coming, if you're coming to your house, apartment, there is no charge. These are staff licensed facilities, make that clear. The call it the third part, is the usual fire inspection, and that's just the wage adjustments to the cost of normally doing the business. We are looking down the road to modify that in regards to these larger type buildings that take longer to inspect, because we're at the point where we need more staff with the amount of inspections and the size of these buildings, and we're exploring that now. And that could be based either on square footage or assessed value instead of the other rate that we have been doing. Call it a research project, but it's the normal, whatever the union got, about a 2% increase. And the other one is kind of preparing for the future, and again with the tourism faction and that, and if a private company comes in and wants to do fireworks, that for us to stand by at those fireworks, they're going to have to pay for the personnel that we need to have. And we've created about a $200 fee, which covers the fire personnel and the battalion chief to be there if this does occur. So in summary, that's pretty much what we've modified this year.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions, comments? Steve? Oh, I'm sorry. Let's let Mr. Dagner go first. You're correct. Sorry, I apologize, Mr. Dagner. You did want to speak.
Arden Degner, 8540 South Pennsylvania Avenue. There's a glaring omission in all this, and I don't know whether it's the wordage, because it could be lumped into one of these charges that the fire chief just mentioned, and that is handling all these drunks. The city is buying beer gardens. We got beer on every hand. We have accidents. Where does it show the treatment for all these inebriated individuals? Which category do they fall in, Chief?
They can fall into many categories. They could actually be diabetic and not even related to alcohol. That's a common mistake that can occur. And as far as the accidents, it was kind of ironic. Assistant Chief Kresk and I were looking today that even with the amount of growth that we've had in the city, our injury traffic accidents have stayed pretty stable. The number hasn't gone up dramatically as you would expect. We're out on the expressway more, but normally, and I think the Traffic and Safety Commission, you're looking for some sort of evidence that says you're doing what you're doing is working, and here it is our injury accidents, and we're quick to address in that cases. The law is the law as far as drinking and driving. I can't stop that, and the penalties are out there, Arden. We go there. We go out there to treat. So the police chief would have to speak to that. But as far as the drinking, these days, use an Uber.
Correct. So again, when situations like that arise, we leave it to our protective services to take care of these people, whether they put themselves in harm's danger getting behind the wheel or if they need help.
What I can talk to, Arden, that might be of interest to you is the drug issues of the fentanyl and everything else for the opioids. The cost of a number of items have gone up, and we've reflected that in the price of the medications, and we try to keep pace with that. So everything from fentanyl to glucagon and everything else that we use.
Thank you. Steve?
First off, I would like to think that the fees associated with drunk driving and accidents would come under the criminal justice system, so that wouldn't necessarily be fire department, but leave that there. Chief, thank you for adding that fee in for the calls to the assisted facilities for just lifting people off the floor. I would seem to think that once you start billing them, they're either going to start finding a way to stop calling you or just accept the fact that they have to pay. I wouldn't be opposed to making it $250 right from the get-go, and then hopefully they'll either hire more able-bodied people to lift them themselves or just pay the fee. But I think 200 is being nice, and I know why you're doing it, so I would go for $250 if there's any thoughts about that. I mean, we don't have any basis other than, this is something new, and might as well just go for it now and then see how it works.
Well, new for Oak Creek, but all of the other municipalities most of them are doing it. I thought you said. So
Right. Yes.
I'm with Alderman Kurkowski, starting out with a minimum of 250, but I actually would be in favor of actually increasing it after the first call to a higher dollar amount like Tulsa is doing.
Other comments, questions?
Yeah, one thing I can further add is when we submitted this, we also had to review with LifeQuest, and they said these were acceptable rates from all of their customers. And also, and I may be one of the few people that still get the Journal as a paper, and in the sports section last week or so, they had the wage or the increases at all the hospitals, and they're right around the 5% also. So you're taking St. Luke's, Wheaton, all of that, or Ascension, I should say now, or their rates are also about the same amount.
I'd still like to go 250, but if that creates a paperwork nightmare last minute, then we can explore this at some other time.
Again, I just would like to remind everybody, these are cost-covering measures when it comes to inspections and what have you. And again, we can't be supplementing businesses, so I think the fire department is just in doing the lift fee. And if this is where we need to start, get businesses to be more proactive, take care of their responsibilities of paying customers or patients that are in their facilities. So, seeing nothing else, motion?
Yeah, we'll move to approve resolution 12009, 120418 establishing various fees, permits, and charges charged by the city of Oak Creek to be effective 1/1/2019.
Kuzikowski, second.
Roll call.
Alderman Kirkowski.
Aye.
Lorik.
Aye.
Dukenyak.
Aye.
Toman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Item 10 is consideration of a resolution consenting to the assignment and assumption of tax increment district number 11 finance development agreement from Drexel Square Hotel Group, Inc. to Drexel Hotel Investment LLC, TFC Oak Creek, LLC Pine Tree Properties, X LLC, to Pine Tree Properties, XI LLC. Bridget, it looks like a change of ownership. Oh, yeah, thank you, Melissa. Maybe you can clear up just what I said.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think you said it just perfectly, so there's no reason for me to say it again. But this is a change in ownership. You're exactly right. The council has seen various amendments to the TID 11 Finance Development Agreement for the hotel project here at Drexel Town Square. This is just as you put it. There's a change in ownership, so as part of that change, which is indicated in this document. It's an assignment and assumption of all the rights and obligations of the new owners transferred from the current owners. So we are consenting to this agreement. That's the extent of us as a party. But other than that, I would say that this project is going very well. And our recommendation is that you approve this resolution so that we have the authority to have the mayor and clerk sign this agreement.
Thank you. Questions, comments? Oh, seeing none, motion.
Clerk moves that the Common Council adopt resolution number 12013-120418, a resolution consenting to the assignment and assumption of tax incremental district number 11 finance development agreement from Drexel Square Hotel Group, Inc. to Drexel Hotel Investment, LLC, TFC Oak Creek, LLC, Pine Tree Properties X, LLC, and Pine Tree Properties XI, LLC.
Dukenyak, second.
Roll call.
Alderman Lorik.
Aye.
Dukenyak.
Aye.
Toman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye. Item 11 is consideration of a resolution approving a certified survey map for the properties at 610 West Rawson Avenue and 7001 and 7045 South 6th Street.
Thank you. Thanks. Good evening. This CSM, the certified survey map, combines the three properties at 6th and Rawson, the northwest corner, into one conforming lot. This CSM and the lot consolidation is being done as part of the development or the redevelopment of these properties for a multi-tenant industrial user, plans of which were approved by the Plan Commission recently, and permitting is, I believe, underway for that. It's about 180 square foot multi-tenant building done by HSA. The CSM again combines the lots, makes that one conforming lot to support that development.
Thank you, Doug. Questions, comments? Oh, do we have a rep here? I mean, if there are questions, here. If there's anything. I just want to make note, this is a brownfield property that's being cleaned up.
Also part of TID 16.
Yes, this is TID 16. This is really going to be an improvement for the city.
It's wrong in here then.
And it's just a step in the process.
Right.
Seeing no. Anything else? Yes, please.
I guess just to add to context, not to extend the meeting, but I think this is an important piece. If the council remembers, this is part of the SAG grant that you had reviewed and approved. There was a memorandum that we entered into with the developer, HSA. So I would say, echoing, I guess, my comment on the prior matter, this is also a really good project and a really important piece for rejuvenating that area of the city. So we are moving along, and just kind of a shout out, I guess, because this is one that's been a long time in the works. So that's it.
Nothing else? Motion, please.
Kirkowski make a motion that the council adopt resolution number 12011-120418, a resolution approving a certified survey map for Oak Creek Rawson Industrial LLC, care of HSA Commercial Real Estate for the properties at 610 West Rawson Avenue and 7001 and 7045 South 6th Street.
Oracle second.
Roll call.
Alderman Dukenyak.
Aye.
Toman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
Lorik.
Aye.
Item 12 is consideration of a resolution establishing a private property and inflow reduction program. Mike.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So, yes, this is the requesting approval of the PPII, Private Property Infiltration and Inflow Reduction Program. This would be step one in us actually carrying out a PPI reduction project, and it is our intent to request us to move forward with some of this PPI work in 2019. And so just quickly, a little background on this. The Milwaukee MMSD established their private property infiltration their PPI program back in 2011, and that was in large part due to the significant flooding events of 2008, and then again in 2010 when there were lots of basement backups throughout their member communities. Not so much here in Oak Creek, but quite a bit on their North Shore communities. And so basically, the purpose of their program is to work with its member communities, Oak Creek, of course, which is one, as they establish their own PPI policies and then actually complete some PPI reduction work. And so we are moving in that direction. This has been something that the city has intended to carry out for several years, and MMSD highly recommends it. And in fact, we have an obligation to do some of this work, as this was a condition of a large grant that we received on a 2013 stormwater project. That was where they allowed us to transfer some of the PPI earmarked money towards stormwater BMPs. And so every year they ask us, are we ready to proceed? And we are ready to proceed. And but basically, this is an important project. We are working hand in hand with the utility. They have done a lot of work on their public sewer mains to reduce clear water intrusion into the sewer system. And this is kind of another component of that work. This is the private portion of it, basically the laterals and some other infrastructure in the homes that is not functioning properly and is allowing clear water into the sanitary sewer. So very simply, clear water into the sewer consumes capacity of the sanitary sewer, and then it cannot function as intended to transport the sewage. What happens when you get a big rain? If that sewer gets inundated, it can back up into basements. Nobody wants that.
I believe we've had that sometimes here in the city.
So basically, we've got the document. It's a one-page document that just outlines the recommended policy, and we've worked closely with MMSD, with our own utility, to draft this document, and requesting approval of it, so then we can move on to the next step.
Thank you, Mike. Any questions for Mike? Mike.
Alderman Toman, Mike, are you finding this more prevalent in my district along Elm Road and North?
Yes.
That's one of the areas you're looking at, right?
Yes, it is. Yes, we've looked at a number of neighborhoods in the 4th District, and the biggest part of that is just the age of the housing stock.
I thought. All right. Okay, thank you. I've gotten a few phone calls on it.
No other questions or comments? Motion?
I'll move to approve resolution 12012-1204118, establishing a private property inflow reduction program.
Guzekowski, I'll second.
Roll call.
Alderman Toman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
Lorick.
Aye.
Dukenyak.
Aye. Item 13 is consideration of a resolution approving a stormwater management practice maintenance agreement with Lakeshore Veterinary Real Estate OCLLC. Mike?
This is the development in the vicinity of 27th and Ryan Road. Development upon a vacant property for the vet clinic, and nothing unusual here. This is a new development that must conform to our stormwater ordinance. Therefore, they have a stormwater pond and storm sewer serving their site to manage their drainage. And of course, the maintenance agreement is what we require that assures that they will maintain that stormwater infrastructure.
Questions for Mike? Seeing none, motion.
Guzekowski makes a motion that the council adopt resolution number 12010-120418, a resolution approving a stormwater management practices maintenance agreement with Lakeshore Veterinary Real Estate OC LLC for their Lakeshore Veterinary Clinic development located at 9472 South 27th Street.
Oracle second.
Roll call.
Alderman Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
Lorick.
Aye.
Dukenyak.
Aye.
Toman.
Aye.
Item 14 is consideration of a resolution approving a third contract extension and addendum to the City of Oak Creek contract specifications for the 2015-2016 private property maintenance projects. Mike.
I can handle this when Melissa's gonna jump in if she wants to. This is the ongoing contract for the outside contractor that is basically on call for the city, and this is where we need property cleanup or houses raised, and allows us to act in a fairly expeditious manner and not have to go out on a case-by-case basis for advertising for bids. We do the advertising one time, award a contract. This contract is set up such that it functions for a year and then has the possibility of 3 more extensions. You got to come back every year to do those extensions. If the contractor is in agreement and then the council is in agreement, it gets signed for 1 more year. So where we are with this was awarded for the 2016 year, was renewed 2017, 2018. So this is the 3rd and final renewal. And the contractor that we work with has been satisfactory, easy to work with, and actually works with the property owners fairly well. So we haven't had any real issues to speak of.
Thanks, Mike. Questions? Seeing none. Motion?
Oracle move that the council adopt resolution number 12014-120418, a resolution approving a third contract extension and addendum to the City of Oak Creek contract specifications for 2015 through 2016 private property maintenance projects.
Dukenyak, second.
Roll call.
Alderman Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
Lorick.
Aye.
Dukenyak.
Aye.
Toman.
Aye.
Gale.
Item 15 is our vendor summary report. Please take a look, and if you have any questions, we can direct them to the individuals that can answer. Bridget, you have a couple comments before we go?
I just have one item to note for number 5. Melissa alluded to it earlier with the SAG grant and HSA. So this is a pass-through. So they did receive one payment here for reimbursement. There will be a second coming, I understand, in the next month or two for their second reimbursement up to, I believe it was $75,000 for that grant. So we received the funds and we are now turning it over to HSA per the agreement.
Bridget? On that line, I see it's TID 14, but it's TID 16 in the SAG grant. So is that a typo or?
Not TID 16. It's actually TID 15, so we're both wrong.
Oh, because the common council
That tells
for
you that we're
earlier
doing
in the
too
meeting
many
it was
TIDs.
16. So was that wrong too then? No. No? Okay. This one's 15.
It changed.
The HSA project, I believe, is stated in the staff report as 16.
Very well.
Any other questions? Comments? Motion?
I will move to approve the November 28, 2018 vendor summary report in the combined total amount of $449,455.59.
Guzekowski, second.
Roll call.
Alderman Kirkowski.
Aye.
Lorick.
Aye.
Dukenyak.
Aye.
Toman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Before I call for adjournment, just a couple of things I want to cover. I want to share with you a letter I received. This is from All Saints Lutheran Church. It is grace, peace, blessings, and much love to those who serve this awesome city of Oak Creek. Thank you for your service. Just a couple words of thanks for those responsible for the Thanksgiving Day Community Turkey Trek this past Thursday. All Saints Lutheran Church, ELCA 9131 South Howell Avenue was the lucky recipient of the canned goods that were collected that day. Alderman Chris Guzikowski was nice enough to call and offer the food to our food pantry. Our food pantry has existed for well over 40 years in the city of Oak Creek. We are indeed thankful and grateful for the canned goods we received. They will be placed in the hands of the people that are in need. Thank you for sponsoring the Thanksgiving Day Community Turkey Trek and for asking for the canned goods. It was indeed very thoughtful. Just another one of those many things that makes Oak Creek great. My personal blessings, Pastor Mortensen. Very nice letter. I'd like to personally thank Leslie Flynn because she pretty much single-handedly puts this thing together for us. Chris, you brought the canned goods, you brought the trailer, collected everything. But most importantly, the public that came in and participated. Nothing works without that. So again, just a really good nod. And for those in need, be aware, Food Pantry at All Saints is open to anybody in need. They're not worried if you're a member of that church or where you're coming from. So those in need, please take part in that. Speaking of those in need, we do have 2 giving trees out in the lobby. They have tags on them. Children of different ages of need, looking for gifts for the holiday season. I picked up a few. It's really easy to do. Just pick them off the branches. Go to a local merchant, whether a large box or a small business. Purchase the gift for the child. Bring it in. Our library's handling that collection. So please, this season, reach in your pockets and make a kid happy. And lastly, I really have to bring this up. We have an annual tree lighting here tomorrow. We expect a pretty good crowd. The weather's going to be brisk, but we're going to light up the tree. We have some things here for the kids to do, and we're also going to have individuals here with our comprehensive plan, and you can weigh in on what's going on in the city. So please, bring your family, spend a little time here at City Hall. We kick off at 5 p.m. So questions, comments from anybody? No, Rich, you were at Turkey Trek. Thank you for being there on that cold morning.
Before we adjourn, Mr. Mayor, could the council look back on items number 6 and 7, those 2 ordinances I read off of the council agenda? If we could get the language, our deputy city clerk, if she could use the language under recommendation on our green sheet, I'd appreciate that. It's more of an accurate description. I read it off of the agenda, but the recommendations are better, much better. So if the council doesn't have any objections, it's a much more accurate statement of what we actually approved. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. There's no other comments or anything to speak of. Adjournment, please.
Kirkowski will make a motion to adjourn.
Oracle second.
Roll call.
Alderman Lorik.
Aye.
Dukniak.
Aye.
Toman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
Great. Thank you all if you streamed it or watched us, and hope to see you tomorrow at the tree lighting or the comprehensive plan event. Thank you.